Thank you, Paula. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Opportunities for Ohio Veteran-Owned Businesses. As Paula stated, my name is Lisa Washington. I am a Regional Outreach Manager with ODOT in the Office of Outreach under the Division of Opportunity, Diversity, and Inclusion. I am one of 3 outreach managers, and part of what we do is provide educational training so that we can get the word out about opportunities with ODOT. And we've been, since COVID, we had to transition from in-person training to webinars, and we have been hosting at least 1 webinar per month since March. So again, thank you for attending today. Before we get started, we are going to have a poll question. So please, we ask that everybody participate in the poll question. Yes. Okay, thank you. It looks like we have 61% of our attendees who are veterans. With that being said, we want to thank you for your service. We missed yesterday, but again, we just thank you for taking your time out of your life and supporting our country. We appreciate what you have done, and for some of you, what you continue to do. Our program today, our agenda, we will do a brief overview of the Division of Opportunity, Diversity, and Inclusion. We will have a Veteran Business Enterprise certification, the application and process that will be presented by Tim Collins. I'm sorry, it says Tom, it's Tim Collins. We will receive an overview about Buy American, Buy Ohio Veteran Preference, and that will be from Patrice Davis. And we will also talk about ODOT's Ion Wave opportunities, and Carol Rezo will present that information. I will give a brief bio of each of our presenters, so you will receive more information about what area of the state they work in, and just a little more personal information about them. One thing I did not state, we are going to hold question and answers until the end. If you do have a question while we are going through the presentation, please put it in the chat so we can review that information at the end of all of our presentations, and thank you. So a little bit about ODOT. We are the Ohio Department of Transportation. ODOT's mission is to provide easy movement of people and goods from place to place. And in supporting that mission, we take care of what we have. We make our system work better. We improve safety and enhance capacity. ODOT takes care of roads, bridges, and highways. So that is our mission. That is what we take care of. You see our crews out on the highways, and we are actively working to support our mission. I am with the Division of Opportunity, Diversity, and Inclusion. Lauren Purdy is our Deputy Director. When you receive a handout, you have the link that will take you directly to our ODI, as we call it, website, and you'll be able to go to each of our offices and learn a little more about what we do. We have 4 offices under the Division of Opportunity, Diversity, and Inclusion. Our Office of Business and Economic Opportunity, Deborah Green is our administrator. That office works with the DBE and SBE certification, our DBE reporting, goal setting for our DBE and EDGE projects that have goals. We also do DBE and OJT, on the job training supportive services, and on the job training program. Our Office of Civil Rights Compliance is headed by Katie LaPlace, and they perform contractor compliance. So all of our projects, making sure that the contractors, the commitments that they've made, that they are keeping those commitments. Our Office of Access and Equity is headed by Kimberly Watson, and that covers our Title VI and Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, and that's for the state of Ohio. And finally, we have our Office of Outreach, of which I'm a part of. And again, I will mention that that office is headed by Deborah Green right now. There are 3 outreach managers. We cover the complete state of Ohio, and our objective is to be a liaison for small businesses, to help you understand how to do business with ODOT. We assist you in learning more about the DBE, the SBE certifications, also the opportunities with ODOT for our MBE and EDGE. We work with the business development partners around the state. So at the federal level, the SBA, the state of Ohio business development programs like the Minority Business Assistance Center, the PTACs, the Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, the Small Business Development Center, SCORE, so the alphabet soup. So if you're trying to find a resource with any of the other programs, please, you can contact us also to have us assist you. These are the outreach managers. I am the manager for ODOT Districts 1, 2, and 3. Jalita Stultz covers the Southwest region. Lynn Stevens covers our Central Ohio region and also is currently covering our Northeast region. Many of you may have known our former outreach manager, Maria Davila, who covered the Northeast region. So Lynn, again, is currently covering that region. So that's a little bit about the Office of Outreach. And now we want to get into the meat of our program. With that being said, we're going to start off with an overview of the Veteran Business Enterprise Certification, the application and the process. And I am going to introduce to you Tim Collins. Tim Collins has worked for the Equal Opportunity Division for the state of Ohio for 20 years as an EEO contract officer, with duties included but not limited to certification of minority-owned businesses, advising companies about their affirmative action plans, monitoring construction sites for discrimination issues, interviewing individuals for fact-finding information, and talking to companies about becoming certified with the state of Ohio. With that, I give you Tim Collins.
Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me today. I want to thank the veterans for being here as well to this very important webinar. I'm here to just tell you about the state of Ohio's Equal Opportunity Veteran Business Friendly Program. Okay, today we're going to be talking about the program, why it's existed, who can apply, and the process. It's just very simple today, what we can be doing. Can everybody hear me? Oh, and can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's just talk about the program today. What we do over at EOD is we certify people, certify companies, minority companies, veteran-owned companies, women-owned companies. This is one of our companies that we certify. Personally, I was in the military for 24 years, and Veterans Day is a very true date in my heart. And I want to thank all the veterans, the 60% of veterans that's in this room today. I want to appreciate the service that you did for our country. And I really just to serving our country, I really appreciate it. Okay. All right. So today we're going to talk about our program. explain the benefits of being in the veteran-owned business program, enterprise program. Who is it designed for? It's designed for veterans. Okay, just that simple. It's designed for veterans, and it's for all procurement needs, not just IT or construction, goods and services. It's for all of the procurement needs. Okay. Next is the question we get is, what is it going to benefit me? How is it going to benefit me? How does it benefit me? Well, what it does is it allows, if you are to bid on RFP, it allows you to get 5 more percentage points on top of your score. And if it's an IT situation, what it does, if you bid 105 points per unit, it'll give you 5 more percentage points and you can win that bid. Just that simple. Just that simple. If you have any more questions about who or what, about the programs, about the bidding possibilities, you can contact David Walker and Wayne McCarty. And you can also ask Patrice, who's behind me, doing her presentation on this situation. Okay. The program, like I said, it adds additional 5% on statewide contracts. It's not like a set-aside program in which we set aside money for an individual. It's open to anybody. We don't have any goals with this. We don't have any set-aside money with this. It's open for anybody. So if you're a veteran-owned business, what it does is it just helps you get in the door. Now, with this information, we have a database that your information will go into, that not only the public sector can look at, but the private sector can look at. And you say, why is this important? Well, it's important because not only public sector jobs need veteran-owned business, but private sector employers, they need to be getting information or resources or procure things from veteran-owned companies as well. Just a few months ago, the governor asked me to look up or put together a list of veteran-owned businesses in Ohio. Well, actually, these businesses, not just in Ohio, they all over the United States. But he wanted me to put together a list of veteran-owned businesses that can supply the state of Ohio with PPE equipment. So I had to get on the phone because in our application process, there is no information there to what your procurement type is. So I had to get on the phone and call over 200 veteran-owned businesses from California to Washington to New York to Florida, asking them what exactly could they sell. And just talking to them, they was compassionate about what they did. Okay, so I think this database that we have established allow people to just go in there and get a veteran-owned business. Okay, find out what they are, who they are. Okay. Now, like I just said, the certification is limited to what you can do once you get certified. You don't have to use it just for in the public sector. You can use it in the private sector. Okay. All right. Now, what is the criteria to get certified? I don't know. Of course, first criteria is to be a veteran. Okay. If you are a veteran, 51% of the company, you can get in the program. Okay. 2, if your owners or your board of directors make up 51% of your company, you can get in there. Okay. 3, if you are certified by the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs as a service disabled person, then you can get into the program. And lastly, I'm gonna bring the slide up now so that I wanted to not let you cheat, but the last one is the one that's important. At least 10% of your workforce that work for you, not the owners, are at least active duty or veteran. Okay, that allows the employees to maintain their employment, okay, with you. So if say your boss is not, you know, he's not a veteran, he's not none of that. This allows him to you to maintain this continuity within your organization. Okay. All right. Next, what are the steps? Okay. I'm gonna show you the application. Okay. The application is very simple. Okay. You put your company information. Okay. There's a drop-down box for the owner's sex. There's also the drop-down box for if you've been disbarred before. Okay. And the next drop box is the 4 reasons. Either you're 51% owner, your employees are 10%, you are with the certified with this small business as a disabled veteran company, and your owners are 51%. Them are the 4 drop down. And lastly, the owner's name should be in the box at the bottom, where who prepared the form. Or I've been watching The Amazing Race. It might, it could, it may, no, it will get rejected by our department if the owner's name is not in that box. So you got to make sure the owner's name is in that box, okay? All right, now, these are the forms of identification. There's a lot of them out there. I mean, for each service. We even take the Ohio driver's license with the Armed Forces logo on it. You know, if you're using the guards, it's an NGB 22. Okay, DD form 214 is what most people use because it's an Army form. Okay, so if you have any of these below, then you can certify, or that's just your original certification and to get into the program. Let me slow down. Okay, that's just the initial. Okay, now, depending on how your company is structured, you'll have to give us 3 years of federal tax returns with the appropriate W-2s or 1099. Now, if your business only been in for a year, it's only a year you got to get. 2 years and 2 years. But you don't got to go back 3 years if your company hasn't been in business for 3 years. Okay. If you got a partnership agreement, then we want to see that partnership agreement. Okay. If it's a corporation, we're looking at the stock certificates, the stock journal, the shareholders, the board of directors, okay, the director roster, who's on the board, okay? Remember, back again, you know, we're looking for 51% of the ownership to be veterans, okay? And just like the LLCs, also, you're looking for the unit certificates and the unit journal, okay? Now, in a nutshell, this is what happens. We would prefer you to get all your information together at once. If you get all your information together at once, it makes it easier on us and on you because, you know, we get piecemeal. We get piecemeal coming in. It may be the wrong one. It may be from another company. It may be a different document that you don't even need. If you were to sit down and gather all the information up, okay, you go on the web page. Now, unfortunately, right now, we don't have it like the MBE or the EDGE program. You just can't go on the Ohio Business Gateway and apply. You got to go to eld.ohio.gov/VET for veterans, and you'll have to go into there and look for the Veterans Certification Eligibility form. Okay, it's an application. It's an Excel spreadsheet. Fill in the information like I showed you up there. Okay, we will ask you then for support and documentation. That's why it's important to get it all at once, send it in. Once you send in the support and documentation, we'll look over the support and documentation and decide, okay, do they need additional information or is this enough information we need right now? Okay, if it's enough the information we need right now, we're gonna analyze the application. Okay, just that simple. If it ain't, we're gonna ask you for more information. Okay, sometimes you might not send in the right forms, or you might send in 1 year tax forms or you know your federal taxes. We need everything. You know, you may forget a form, you might forget anything. Okay, anything that you think we think is important, we need. Okay, so we send that stuff in, we analyze the application, and we give a recommendation to the state EEO coordinator. At that time, when we analyze that, we give it to them. He's going to say approve or disapprove. Okay. If you approve it, we'll send you an email stating that, hey, you've been approved. Okay, go on, try to get some other business. Your information will be on this Excel spreadsheet of approved veteran businesses. If we don't approve you, it ain't that bad. That just means, you got to go work on some other things. You can always ask for a hearing on a disapproval. Okay. And in a nutshell, that's the presentation. That's the certification process right there. Okay. Submissions that require support and documentation, and the determination. Okay. It takes about 30 to 45 days. We're introducing a WBE program right now, and we're going to a new checklist with our VBE and MBE programs. So it may be on other side of 35, 45 days, 50 days to get you certified or give you a decision. Okay. If you have any questions, though, I hope I was clear with what we do here. If you have any questions, just feel free to contact us at this information right here on the webpage, www.das.ohio.gov/LD. You can call us at 614-466-8380. We're located at 4200 Surfers Road in Columbus, Ohio, 43228 if you need to mail it. Okay. I want to thank everybody for their service. That's in the audience. I appreciate the time y'all gave me to explain the state's program. If you have any questions, drop it into the message box. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. With that said, I'm going to pass it on to a good friend of mine, Treese Davis. Treese, I'm going to give it to you.
We thank you, Tim, for your presentation and walking through the process of the VBE certification. Also, it was encouraging and enlightening to hear that Governor DeWine had reached out to you to try to identify veteran-owned businesses that could potentially provide PPE, so that we know that that list is not just sitting there, that there is some movement going on with the VBE certification and companies that are certified. So at this time, I would like to introduce our next presenter, Ms. Patrice Davis. Patrice is a firm believer in the importance and impact of public service. She began her career with the state of Ohio as legislative aide in the Ohio House of Representatives. After serving the residents of Dayton in this capacity, she moved to the Ohio Department of Administrative Services in the Equal Opportunity Division as the outreach coordinator for the state's MBE program. In this capacity, Patrice organized statewide outreach efforts to educate small business owners on the MBE certification process and program benefits, which led to a statewide increase in MBE certified businesses. Patrice then moved to the Office of Procurement Services, where she worked with procurement analysts and managers to identify procurement opportunities for Ohio MBEs. In her role as MBE program manager, she conducted research on how to do business with the state, as well as market analysts to identify potential set-aside opportunities in small businesses not yet certified. Since her time in OPS, the Office of Procurement Services, she has helped to ensure the division reaches its 15% set-aside goal. Patrice works with regional MBOC centers to continue the mission of the MBOC program as it relates to procurement. Patrice earned her BA in Political Science from Ashland University, her MPS from George Washington University, and is a graduate of the Joanne Davison Ohio Leadership Institute. She currently lives in Columbus, Ohio with her family. Welcome, Patrice.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. Again, thank you for your service and all that you have done for the American people, as well as for the people of the state of Ohio. And just to give a brief overview of my presentation, I'm going to speak about the Veteran Business Enterprise Program by Ohio and by American as it relates to the Office of Procurement Services. Some of the information will be a repeat from what Tim Collins presented earlier. So not really a repeat, but a refresher of some of the information as our divisions work closely with one another. Okay. So beginning, this is the Ohio Revised Code as well as the Ohio Administrative Code. This gives you the law for the veteran, a law reference for our DBE program and as a requisite procurement program. So just a refresher for what it does, it allows for prices on bids submitted by veteran-friendly businesses to exceed those prices on bids submitted by businesses not certified as veteran-friendly by up to 5% and still be eligible for winning the award, as well as scores on proposals submitted by a VBE can be up to 5% lower than the proposal scores submitted by businesses that are not VBE certified and still be eligible for winning the award. To be eligible for VBE certification, the applicant must meet at least one of the following criteria. 10% of its employees are veterans or on active service. At least 51% of the applicant's business is owned by the veterans or persons on active service. The applicant's business is a corporation 51%, which is not owned by veterans or persons on active service. At least 51% of the board of directors are veterans or persons on active service, or the business is certified by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs as either a service-disabled veteran-owned small business or a veteran-owned small business, and the owners of the business meet the definition of a veteran as defined in the Ohio Administrative Code 123-5-1-01. Okay. And this is just a refresher from the information that we just discussed. When you're applying for certification, these are the records that you need to supply to verify your veteran status, which will demonstrate an owner's or employee status as a veteran or person on active service. And just a brief overview of the Buy American and the Buy Ohio programs. These are two programs where they are enabled in our ORC as well as our Ohio Administrative Code. They permit bids containing products that are produced in Ohio or a border state, and that's for Buy Ohio, whereas the Buy American, this will apply to those in a border state in Ohio or within the United States of America to be selected for a contract award, even if they exceed prices that are offered as compared to those that do not contain an Ohio or border state in the Buy Ohio program or an Ohio border state or American product in the Buy American program, no more than 5% or 6% respectively. State agencies are allowed to apply these preferences. It is recommended that they should apply the preferences when making purchases under their direct purchase authority. Specify which preferences will be applied in the solicitation, and they are to request the information as to the point of manufacturer and the location of the supplier. So I'm going to slow down and just recover all this to make sure we're all on the same page. Buy Ohio is a program that is specific to companies, products that are manufactured in Ohio or requisite border states. So that's where you have the Buy Ohio preference. The Buy American is in Ohio, a border state, or across the United States as applied to bids in relation to other bids that may be submitted by companies that are not either in Ohio, a border state, or from an American company. Also, while DBE preference and can be applied to our invitation to bids, as well as our request for proposals, or also known as RFPs. Buy American and Buy Ohio are only allowed to be applied to our invitation to bid, also known as ITB. As I mentioned here, state agencies are allowed to apply these preferences and encourage when they are using their direct purchase authority. Direct purchase authority is the authority that is given to state agencies when a solicitation will exceed $49,999. So basically, when a solicitation is $50,000 or $50,000 or more, it is administered by procurement services. If it is less than $50,000, it is administered by the state agency, and the state agencies under their direct purchase authority are strongly encouraged to use the Buy American, Buy Ohio, and DBE. And as part of my job, when I work to check in and certify the bids with the state auditor, we always research and check against our certification database those businesses that are Veterans Business Enterprise as certified by the state of Ohio. This is a screenshot of the certification statement that is included in the ITBs. So as part of your bid, you would need to complete the appropriate certification below to receive preference on the solicitation that you are submitting a bid for. Now I will briefly cover how to find bid and contract opportunities. Okay. This is our homepage for our procurement services. It is procure.ohio.gov. And to search procurement opportunities, you would go to the homepage where if you have the For Suppliers tab, bid opportunities, and then select all opportunities. That is the easiest way, especially if it's your first time to our website, to look at procurement opportunities. You are then able to select a commodity category or opportunity type if you wish to narrow your search. Now, over here, you will see different ways you can search by market type, such as MBE or open market. As stated before, you will not find DBE because a DBE is not a market type, but rather a preference. Okay. Once you hit the select page, you will get a list of the procurement opportunities in the search results. To view an opportunity, you want to select the document or bid number. This is the hyperlink right here that will then take you to the bid page. Okay. This is called our Procurement Opportunity Search Detail page. Here you will find all the necessary information. It will have things such as the commodity category, the commodity type, the opportunity status, whether it's active, under evaluation, closed. You will also have the department that is requesting the services, as well as under associated PDF files is where you will find the bid document that you can save to your computer or print out, whatever your desire. Under the dates column, you will have the date that it was posted to our website. The opening date is the day that it is due to procurement services, and all bids are due either Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And bid openings are at 1 p.m. So if a bid comes in at 1 p.m. 1 second, it is counted as late. And also under here, it's very rare when you see an estimated award date, although it can be on there. Another date that you will see is called the inquiry period. The inquiry period is the time when bidders are allowed to submit questions online for the contract analyst to then post an answer for all of those interested in the opportunity, and that would also be found on this page as well. Okay. I know they said that we will take questions at the end, but that does complete the presentation from Procurement Services as far as the Veteran Business Enterprise Program as it relates to procurement services, as well as how to search procurement opportunities on our website. If you have any additional questions, you can always contact our bid desk at 614-466-5090 or email at bid.statepurchasing@das.ohio.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrice. I learned a lot because I didn't know that much about the
Now
Buy
that I have completed, I will now pass on to Carol Reza for her presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Patrice. And now we'll introduce Carol Rizzo, who will talk to us about ODOT's Ion Wave opportunities. Carol's career with the state of Ohio has spanned 31 years in 3 state agencies, including the Auditor of State and the Department of Job and Family Services. Most recently, Carol spent the past 12 years with the Ohio Department of Transportation, serving as the District 1 Fiscal Officer. Carol became a certified public manager in 2014 after graduating from the Ohio Certified Public Manager OCPM program. She resides in Paulding County with her husband of 31 years. Welcome, Carol.
Hello. And before I go any further, I also wanted to echo the thanks to all the veterans on the line. We do live in a truly great country, and it's all thanks to the dedicated servicemen and women like you who work so hard to keep us safe every day. So my portion of the presentation this afternoon is to cover how to find bid opportunities, and I'm going to talk about 2 separate areas. Those would be ODOT operating contracts and non-contract purchases. So regarding ODOT contracts, ODOT contracts are basically separated into 2 categories. We have the capital contracts and we have operating contracts. So the capital contracts are where we find the massive construction projects for roadways or bridges and sometimes buildings. These contracts are going to be entirely excluded from our discussion today. We're not going to talk about the big capital project or contracts. However, the operating contracts are just those that we use to do our day-to-day purchases, for our day-to-day operations, like maybe asphalt or stone or vehicle parts. So for purposes of today's presentation, I'm focusing on the operating contracts. And I did want to mention that this is different from Patrice just talked a little bit about DAS contracts, and that she showed a web page. Those are contracts that are managed by the Department of Administrative Services, and those are available for all state agencies. These contracts that I'm going to talk about are ODOT specific, and they are only available for ODOT to use. And then the second part is non-contract purchases. That is when we buy things from something that's not on a contract anywhere. So this slide shows a link to ODOT's website. And I wanted to mention, I think Patrice is going to, or not Patrice, Lisa is going to send all of these slideshows out to you. So you don't need to try and write this down, but it'll be available in case you need to look back at it later. So here's a link to ODOT's website, and I'm going to actually go there live. So to find bid opportunities on ODOT's website, you would click up here, the top right, where it says doing business. And then scroll down to here where it says contracts. Click on the word contracts. And this is on the slide too, so if you need to come back later and look at it, you can. Then you'll scroll down again and click on procurement opportunities. That should bring up a screen that looks like this. So if you're interested in finding upcoming bid opportunities, you would click on the second link down. It says upcoming ITBs. That stands for invitations to bid. So if you click there, this brings up a list. This is a list of all the contracts that are they're out there right now waiting for vendors to bid on them. So in order to, if you're interested in any of these, here the columns that says date open, you'd have to make sure you bid before that date, because that's the date that they're going to open up the bids. And if you, in order to bid, you click over here to the left side where it says invitation URL. that will open up all the specs, and it will also open up instructions for how to submit the bid and where to mail it. These are all done, the last I checked, they're all done by paper. So you'd have to actually print out the bid, fill out the packet, and then mail it in. I think the Office of Contracts is working on trying to get something electronic, but at this point, as far as I know, they're all still doing them by paper. So that's one place to look. And then another place to look is if you go down to the fourth link where it says current contracts. If you click there, this will bring you up a list of all of our current operating contracts that we have. I've not counted them. I'm going to guess there's a couple hundred of them or more. So if you wanted to scan through them, it would tell you what types of things we enter into contracts for. Clicking clear to the left again would bring up all the specs. So if you wanted to review that, and clear over here to the right under the award tab, if you click on that, that will bring up a list of the pricing of the contract and also all the vendors. Sometimes it's just a single award, they're only awarding to one vendor, but other times it's a multiple award contract and they've awarded to multiple vendors. So you could see if you click there, it will tell you all the vendors that were awarded. So for example, let's say you might be interested in this tree trimming contract right here, the second one down. You can see that it's actually already been awarded and it opened on October 1st. But also you look at the expiration date here, it expires September 30th of 21. So you already missed the opportunity for this year, but next year, these are generally done every year. So if you keep it in mind, it's probably going to be renewed next year and rebid. So if you're interested in it, I would suggest contacting ODOT's Office of Contracts. And I included a link on the slide later to give you contact information. If you contact them, they will keep your information on file. And then when the contract you're interested in comes back up, they'll send you a packet in the mail so that you can actually submit a bid. If you're extremely interested, I definitely would say to contact them, because sometimes if the contracts aren't used very much, if they don't get too much use, they might not renew them. So I would definitely contact the Office of Contracts to find all of that information out and give them your information if it's something that you think you might be interested in bidding on the next time around. And again, like I said, these bids are all done by paper and through the mail. They're working on an electronic version, but they haven't, at this point, to my knowledge, been able to do that yet. So, okay. I went through kind of these. And this slide here is, and again, you don't have to write this down because I think Lisa's going to send this information out to you later, but this is contact information for ODOT's Office of Contracts. And I did ask Robert Rounds if it was okay for me to provide his information, and he said sure. So if you have any questions about ODOT contracts, operating contracts, and you want to know more information, you can definitely contact Robert Rounds. So then my second topic then is non-contract purchases. So we just talked about operating contracts. So now this section is about non-contract purchases. So if somebody in one of our employees in ODOT, if they want to purchase something, the first thing they do is come to the finance office, and then we look to see if there's any contracts in place already for the item or service that they want to purchase. And if there's a DAS contract or an ODOT contract out there, then we're required to use that contract. But if there's no contract already in place, then if the purchase is going to exceed $2,500, then we're required to get quotes before we make that purchase. And the way we go about doing that is through our e-quote system, which is called Ion Wave. And there's a link here. I'm not going to go there live unless, I suppose I can if somebody really wants me to. But to get there, you can go through ODOT's website. Again, click on this contract sales home, and then scroll down and click on ODOT quote opportunities. And that will bring up a screen that looks like this. And this is IonWave's homepage. So if you're interested in bidding on something that's not already on a contract, then you would click here, the bottom left where it says current bids, and that will bring you up a screen that looks like this. So this is a list of all of the things. This is a couple weeks old because I created this a few weeks ago, but here's a list of all the things that are out there right now waiting for vendors to bid on. These are in our IonWave system. In order to bid on these, you would have to actually register in the system. You would go to the right-hand side of the screen here and click on supplier registration, and then this will get you registered. Just follow the prompts, and this will get you registered in our IonWave system. Now, I did want to say, this is kind of separate, so there's two different registrations. If you want to do business with the state, you have to register in what we call OAKS, which is the state of Ohio's accounting system. So you have to register there, and that is different from here. So to register in OAKS, you have to register just basically so we can pay you. That's the only mechanism we have to actually write you a check or get payment to you. Separately is this Ohio IonWave system, which is our eQuote system. The two systems are not linked in any way, so you have to register in each one separately. So if you want to actually bid on something in this IonWave website, you have to register here. So IonWave then, this system is for non-contract purchases, like I said, something we don't have a contract for, between $2,500 and $50,000. So if it's less than $2,500, we don't have to get quotes and we can just go buy the item. If it's more than $50,000, generally the Office of Contracts takes care of them, so it would not go through this IonWave eQuote system. And then lastly, I was asked to kind of maybe explain a little bit about the preference for certified vendors, for veteran certified vendors. So we have two scenarios here listed on the screen. So in the top scenario, you can see that the non-certified vendor bids $5,100 for whatever it is that we're buying. The certified vendor bids $5,350. So if you don't apply any preference at all, you can clearly see that the non-certified vendor's bid is lower. So with no preference applied, we would award that to the non-certified vendor. However, the second scenario down below, you can see again the non-certified vendor bids $5,100, but he doesn't get a preference, so we add 5% to his bid. So his total effective bid amount now becomes $5,355. And the DBE certified vendor bid the same amount again of $5,350. Now you look at the two comparisons, and the certified vendor becomes the low bidder and would be awarded that bid. So I know that's kind of confusing, and I went through it kind of quickly, and I can answer questions, I guess, towards the end if you have other questions as we go through that. And here's my contact information listed here. If you have any questions about anything, or if you want to talk to me about how to do the registration process or anything, just let me know. You can contact me directly. And I think on this last slide, I have Lisa Washington's information as well. And I think that's really all I have, unless we have questions later on.
Thank you very much, Carol. And not only to you, but all of our presenters. The information you shared, and also Patrice, particularly when you're going out to try to identify where items are on websites, it's always helpful to have that information that you can refer back to assist you in walking through websites. Also, that's what we do in the Office of Outreach. We assist. Carol, if you could share, put me back on. Okay. We're going to be starting in our question and answer. There we go. Starting our question and answer period. Behind the scenes are the other two outreach managers, Lynn Stevens and Jaleel Stoltz. They'll be assisting in reading out the questions that we have. So it looks like there are a few questions. So if you guys want to go ahead and start asking, sharing the questions that we have in the chat. Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm trying to get here. Oh, you got it,
Liz, you
Jaleel?
want to go ahead?
Okay, here's one. Sorry. How do you judge success of the VBE program? Is our first question I see. How do you judge success of the VBE program? Is there any of the panelists? I guess if you meet the goal, maybe overall goal. Oh, this is preference, it's not a goal, that's right. Any feedback, Patrice or Tim or Carol, how do you judge success for the Veteran Business Enterprise Program for your agency or for the state globally? Is there any measure of success, certain percentage in spending of VBE or number of certified businesses overall, or not really right now?
I don't know that we actually judge success at ODOT anyway. I'm not sure about Patrice and Tim, but I would say that the success of the program would be giving veteran-friendly companies more of an opportunity to bid. Sorry, Patrice, to bid, and also the 5% preference I think is helpful. So if you're within 5% of the next lowest bidder, then the award would go to the veteran certified company versus the non-veteran company.
I'm echoing what Carol said. No, you're okay. No, everything what you.
Okay, you just echo what Cheryl said. Okay, sorry. Another question is, does this apply for or to recovery homes? This person who asked the question said
echoing that there is not a set aside net percentage or codified percentage for meeting.
Okay, does not really apply. Is what I'm gathering. Okay. How does ODOT show preference for VBEs, Veteran Business Enterprises, in their quality-based
questions for certification? Are they asking if a recovery, if that's for business, if that can be certified?
I assume yes. They're asking if they're going to be opening a recovery home, and they want to. Is that an RFP or a bid? Is that veteran preference is going to apply?
So what was the question again?
About the recovery home. How does this apply, the VBE certification apply for or to recovery homes? They're going to be opening a recovery home. So I would assume if there's going to be an RFP or a bid out for recovery homes, I don't know if that's how it works. They're wondering if that's going to apply, the VBE certification.
And or I don't know, could they be getting some funding from maybe a state agency? They're saying a recovery home. Maybe it's, and I'm just throwing this out here, I don't know. Is it under maybe Department of Ohioans with Disabilities? Where maybe within that agency, they might fund a recovery home for veterans. So are they getting some funding from any state agency? Because a lot, sometimes those funds are coming through federal and not state.
I would say to check with the state agency that you're considering bidding with, and they should know more, because I'm not aware of anything with ODOT like that, but it could be something that I don't see very often. But I would definitely check with whatever state agency you're bidding on, and they should have more information.
Okay. And then one other thing I wanted to add, because there's the federal DBE certification, which is different, where ODOTs wouldn't apply. And, individuals, if you have the certifications, you want to make sure how you can use your federal certification versus the state certification.
Okay, great. Another question, how does ODOT show preference for DBEs in their quality-based selection process used to select consultants?
Selecting consultants, I'm not sure if it's something that actually gets bid, like through this ION-WAVE system or through the Office of Contracts. It would be just like I showed. There's a 5% preference. So if you're within 5%, with the consultants, I'm not exactly sure. I don't deal with consultants that often in my office. So I think that kind of would be more of a capital, on the capital side. They deal a lot with consultants. So I don't really know. If it's something that's not bid, then there would be probably no real way to show a preference. The only way that I'm aware of is, if you have a bid process and you have all of the bids listed, if they do get bids for it, then I would say yes, they would. It would be the same. It would be, the percentage of, if you're within 5% of the next lowest bidder.
Yes, thank you. I think so. We can get clarification also, the person who asked the question, if you want to put your email address in there. But I agree with Carol that I don't think there's a VBE preference on the quality-based selection process. But feel free to enter your email address and we can get a for sure answer for you. Another question is, our firm is a U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs Center for Certification. Well, our firm is a U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs Center for Verification and Evaluation, verified/certified SDVOSB. Would we still have to go through the entire process, or do you practice reciprocity? You're muted, Tim. Sorry. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, right
Yes.
now we do.
Yes.
Right now we do not have any reciprocity program for our veteran program. We just don't have that right now. What you can do is just go on to our webpage, das.eod/VET. The application is a one-pager on the right-hand side. I would just go there. That's one of the 4 criteria for being certified anyway. So it wouldn't take no 30 days at the max to get you certified. So I wouldn't worry about reciprocity right now. Just go ahead and fill out the application and you should be certified, okay? With the other information, of course.
Okay, great, thanks. Another question, for the ODOT non-contract purchases, are you required to be pre-qualified to supply goods?
I saw that. No, there's no pre-qualification. The only thing you have to do is register in that ION-WAVE system. And I forgot to mention during my presentation, once you get in there and registered, there's no cost for the vendor to register. And then once you're successfully registered, you will automatically get notifications anytime there's any type of an opportunity out there that's in your commodity code or your line of work. You'll automatically get notified that those are out there for you as an opportunity to bid on. So that's the only, there's no pre-qualification. All you have to do is register in that system.
Okay, great. Next question. I'm a qualified disabled veteran business from Michigan and have my certification for the state of Ohio. Will my bid be treated the same as yours in state veteran business?
Yes. As far as the preference that I went through at the end, yes, it would be the same. Patrice talked a little bit about Buy Ohio, Buy America, and then there's the veteran program. So there's 3 different programs that we, at least that we use for the Ion Wave non-contract purchases. And you can only get one of those 3 preferences. The Buy America preference is 6%, Buy Ohio is 5%, and the VBE is 5%. So you can only get one of the 3 of those. So if you're a veteran certified company, you would automatically get the 5%. But then if perhaps you happen to be applicable for the Buy America program, then you would get a 6% preference.
Okay, great. And next, may a veteran certify more than one business at one time?
Well, you got the same federal tax ID number or different federal tax ID numbers. If you got different tax ID numbers, yes, you can. That'd be no issue. You can be owners of 2 and 3, 4 companies, and apply that veteranship to each company. That's legal. Okay.
Okay, great. It has been mentioned that the certification process for veterans can be done via EOD and also the Veteran Affairs. Are both necessary or one or the other?
Could you repeat that? I didn't hear the beginning part of it.
It has been mentioned that the certification process for veterans can be done via EOD and also via Veterans Affairs. Are both necessary or one or the other?
They're 2 different sources. I mean, the EOD, we certify people for the state of Ohio and their state procurement. Veteran Affairs is for the federal side, I would assume. I don't deal with federal side. I don't want to protect or say what they are, but I would assume that's for the federal side of the procurement. And what we do is for the state side for EOD. We certify for the state. So that would be state procurement. That would be Patrice. That would be even ODOT, I guess, if because they take veteran owned stuff, people that we certify. So I think this is two different levels. I would say you will want to be certified on all levels as possible that you are eligible for, you know. Carol?
As far as I don't know if this is just 2 different avenues to become certified. I mean, what we would do is just, they fill out the certification as they're submitting their bid. There's a form that they fill out that says, it basically says yes or no, I'm certified veteran in accordance with, revised code, blah, blah, blah. And then we will look at your list, the DAS list, to make sure that the company is listed there and is truly certified. And then if that's the case, we will apply the 5% preference.
Can I piggyback on what the question? I thought if they put an application in for a veteran business with your organization, Carol, do it apply to the federal side and the state side? How does that work, Lisa or Carol, whoever wants to answer that, or Lynn?
Okay.
So
ODOT doesn't do any certifications. All we do is look at DAS's certifications. We don't have any different ones. We look at yours.
I'm thinking about DBE.
Okay. Oh, for the DB, no. Since those, the VBE, MBE, WBE, EDGE, those are all state of Ohio. And ODOT only processes the DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, and SBE, Small Business Enterprise, which those are federal certifications. So there's the difference between the state certifications and the federal. But I will also say that even though DBE is a federal, the Federal Veteran Affairs certification does not apply to DBE. So even if they're veteran through the federal side, the DOT DBE program kind of stands by itself. So we wouldn't utilize that certification. And just one other thing I'll mention, you know, I think I threw out one of the state of Ohio programs, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. They could be really helpful in assisting on the federal side with certifications. We can provide contact information if any business that's on the line would like to know who or contact a PTAC center in the state of Ohio. Also, I will say I was just reading a email today from Jobs Ohio, and they're starting to do more of a military focus for the state of Ohio. I know they're doing a couple of outreach events going around the state, so military and veteran. So there seems to be more of a focus because Ohio does have a very large presence of military establishments in the state of Ohio. Okay.
Okay. The state of Ohio seems to have several different sites for bid opportunities. Do you have a list of all the websites with the different bid opportunities and categories?
That is so true, and it's so, and sometimes it's hard for us to even keep it all straight, let alone people who don't really even, you know, are unfamiliar with it. So I will see if I can come up with something, at least a place to start. I often have vendors, you know, calling and I'll send them an email with all the different people to contact and places to look. So I'll see if I can come up with something to get you, Lisa. Maybe you can send it out to everybody afterwards.
Well, on the Procure.Ohio website, under contacts, all the way to the right, they have the procurement officers on there for each agency. That's a really good place to start because each agency is responsible for procuring their own stuff. As far as sites, I think each agency got their own site. So I think that helps. I hope that helps some of the people, please.
Yes, that is a very helpful site. They also used to have a how to do business with the state of Ohio, that PDF that kind of walked you through some of the things that Patrice showed. Because again, we're showing people this now, they'll get the handouts, but you can get lost in Procure Ohio, particularly because there's so much information there. But again, the outreach managers can also assist with giving out some information also.
Okay, great. I see one more question. There was something that Tim mentioned about point credits to veteran bidders. Would you repeat that, please?
That was a 5% rule that Patrice, Carol really pointed out with an example. Is we get 5%. We get 5% if they are, if it's a RFQ and they're trying to see who can do it. They give you, it's a point system, okay? And if you can do this, A, you can do B, or you can do C. It all adds up. Say it adds up to 100, okay? If it adds up to 100, and say you got 93, and that's 5% of 100 somehow, okay? Let's go with 95 since it make it even. That'll push you up to 100, okay? And that means that now that 5% pushes you up to 100, and you can be eligible to get that award, okay? On bids, it's that 5% that say you overbid by 5%, and just say widgets. They want 100 widgets for $100, and you bid 105. I ain't say they want, but the bid came out. The lowest one was 100. You put 105 in there. You'll get a 5% decrease, which brings you back to 100. Now you can win that bid, and not at the 100, but at the 105 price per unit of widgets. I hope that makes sense to you. It's just a 5%, wherever it's on top or on bottom. Depends on what program and how they're bidding. I think Carol gave a good example. I'm gonna use that, Carol, on my next presentation. That you want to see it on paper. Carol's presentation has laid out on paper. I just trying to tell you how it's done. Okay.
Okay, we don't have any more questions, but an email address did come through so we can get the clarification for that one question. So that was the last question I see. So I guess we could go ahead and wrap it up. Go ahead, Lisa, sorry.
No problem. Thanks, Lynn. I did list, you will receive all the information that was presented today in handout. The contacts are listed. You see all the regional outreach managers for the VBE and the state of Ohio procurement. The contact information that they listed in their presentations, and Carol's information is listed here also. So again, I want to thank you all for taking time out of your day to learn a little more about veteran-owned businesses in Ohio. Hopefully we've given you another tool in your toolbox. And again, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out or contact us.